Hello and welcome to Mark No Horsemanship. Here we are with River, a 4-year-old quarter horse mare. If you'll go back through some of my videos and see River, the other day I had her turned loose and I was working on join up with her because she was just disconnected. She came to me a couple weeks ago and I found a bunch of holes in her foundation. So today I haven't done anything yet. All I've done is saddled her and led her over here in a couple circles here. And now I'm going to turn her loose, and I'm going to work on the connection, the join up with her, if you will, today, and see where we're at on that. So when I turn her loose, what I'm going to be looking for her is to want to stay with me. You know, the other day she was pacing the gates right there because she knows that's where her stall is, and she knows that's where her, some other horses are beside her, and it was just she's just been disconnected, and so I'm personally probably not to blame for that. She came that way, but that's why she's here, is to be bettered. And I'm working on that. I can tell by her disposition that she is getting better. You know, before she wouldn't stand here like this. She was a little bit scrambling around and just kind of unsettled. And also, you want to keep in mind with these mares, what I could have been experiencing was she may have been having a heat cycle. So sometimes these mares are different, way different when they're having a heat cycle. Matter of fact, I really believe that was kind of the bigger issue. Not to say that she didn't need some work, and I don't mean it that way, but to add to it, I think also she was in heat because she had some wetness on her back legs, which tells me that she was doing a lot of urinating in the stall because she's got a couple horses beside her, and whether they're mare geldings, sometimes they will still yet break down for them and what you call horse uh, and everything like that. So what I'm going to do is just turn River loose here and see if she wants to stay with me here. She's got her choice to leave, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk around and I'm just going to see if she'll stay connected to me, and then I'm actually going to send her off in a couple of circles and see if I can't draw her mind to me. Let's do a pretty quick turn right here and see if River will stay connected here. Like I said, she's fresh out of the stall. Haven't done anything with her yet but saddled her. And I'm still going to move her around because I'm going to ride her here in a minute. And I want to make sure she ain't got any kicks and giggles in her with that saddle. So I'm going to do another quick turn. I'm going to bait her right here. I'm going to see if she'll want to be with me or if she'll want to stay down here at her buddies. And let's just see. She's thinking about it right here. So let's just see if we can sort of do something right here to get her connected back on me. Maybe just get her attention right here and see if she'll follow me. Right now she's not wanting to, so now would be a good time to send her out. If she wants to trot, you turn it into your idea and let her kind of buck around with that saddle right there a little bit, and that'd be good. So what we're going to work on here is getting her connected again. So, and it also gives me a chance to look for any signs of lameness. Just to do an overall check on her to see if she is what her attitude's like for today. She's always a little bit penny-eared. She's kind of I ain't gonna say grumpy, but she's kind of grouchy sometimes, I guess would be a better word. I like it that she just wants to walk right here. That's good. And lower that head. She's really wanting to kind of get along with the program. Now I want to talk about doing it at liberty like this as compared to having them on a halter and a rope. I like to do both. I only do this when a horse is really, really, really disconnected. But I will still work her on a rope because I believe that the only way that you can correct a horse and the only way that you can discipline a horse is by being able to correct him with the rope if she's pulling on you or whatever. I've got horses in before that have been worked at liberty, pretty much their whole entire round pen experience with people. And, that does nothing for the pressure and the release type thing that I like a soft horse. I don't like a horse pulling on me. So I always go back after I get them connected. This is for connecting to me. And you can see she's looking at them gates. She'll realize that, I'm the best place to be. And, take that however you want to take it. But that's what I'm trying to do is say, hey, I'm your resting place. I'm your salvation. I'm your everything right now. And that may sound arrogant. That may sound, a little bit bullyish or something. But no matter what it sounds like, it's the truth. I need to be her. I need to be her everything. She needs to look to me for everything, kind of like we need to do with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You know, this is what He did to me. I don't know if He did it to y'all or not, but this is what He did to me before I got saved. You know, I was out there running around on my own, thinking I could do it on my own, like this Mare is right now. And the whole time He was standing there saying, hey, if you would just cast your cares upon me and let me handle your life for you, you'll be a whole lot happier. And that's kind of what I'm doing with her right here. So that's why I like to use that word salvation. You know, she needs to realize that I'm her salvation. I'm not comparing myself to Jesus Christ. So I hope nobody thinks that. I'm just using it kind of as an analogy. And so hopefully this mare will get saved here in a minute. You know, luckily Christ, He convicted me in my heart, 12 or 16, 18 hours before I got saved. He convicted me really hard. But I can't recall Him ever really putting a whole lot of pressure on me like I'm doing this Mare, and I'm not putting a lot of pressure on her, but I am still yet driving her around. I'm making her go forward here. But I don't think Christ ever quite put that much pressure on me. I knew He was there, and it's a free choice. We are free moral agents. We can choose to accept Him, or we can choose not to. And so let's just see if we can add a little bit of pressure here and get this Mare to thinking about coming to me. Now, right there at them gates, before I even start to take any pressure off of her, she's gonna have to change at them gates just a little bit. Right there, as she goes around them, you can see she tucks her nose to them. I hope y'all can see that from where you're sitting and watching it. But right here, she'll start putting her nose to them gates because that's where she'd rather be. Now, if I can fix this in here, then she'll be fixed everywhere, if that makes any sense, because this is a live bait right here. We're setting her up with a resting place over there and putting her out there for a true test by doing it in the barn here. So it's getting she's getting a little bit drawn away from them gates more and more and more. So let's just add a little bit of pressure here and see if we can't really get her mind off of being in that resting place. I think this Mare has been so, I don't want to use the word abused. I'm not saying that, but she's been so she just ain't, I don't think she's ever really felt any comfort in people. I just don't think she has. And so she's like scarred. She's like once bitten, twice shy. She's like, I don't like people. They've never done anything good for me. They may feed me and all this, but I've never felt any kind of security around people. And I think that comes from a lack of leadership on the human's part. And I think it scares a horse when there's not a leader. I'll say that again. I think it scares a horse when they feel like that there's not a leader. Now, right here, she's lowering her head. She wants to walk. You might say, well, Mark, why don't you go with that? She's giving you every sign. I'd like for this gate issue right here, this little gate deal to get a little bit better. Let's see if we can get it better before I take the pressure off. She's going to want to stop. She's going to want to stop here in a minute, is what I'm saying. So I'll look for every little signal I can. And right here, it might be a good opportunity right here's going to be a good opportunity to take that away and let her rest right here with me. So if you noticed, I waited until her expression changed at the gate. At the gates. I had no idea she was going to do this today. So that's where my horsemanship differs from a lot of people's work that they do with horses. Because a lot of people, right here, I'm just going to catch her attention and I'm going to say, hey, why don't you just stay here with me? And I'll finish my statement here in just a second. So let's see if we can get that see there? She's bringing that hind quarter around and she's just wanting to hang out with me right here. So what I was saying was, the reason I differ is that a lot of people, when they lead a horse out of the stall, they've got something in mind that they want to do today. And I do too. I've got a goal that I want to reach. I've got an idea of what I'm going to try to get accomplished with this horse. But anytime during that, I'm ready to change. I'm ready to change my whole approach. Like when I sent her out a while ago, I didn't know she was going to be stuck to that gate again. I kind of figured she would, but I didn't know it for sure. So I thought it might be a little short join up session, and then we'd be on her back. But I'm going to actually I'm going to send her out in going the same way right here. Instead of doing the opposite way, we're going to the left. I'm going to send her back out, and I'm going to really hone in on this left side, and then I'm going to draw her in, and I'm going to go around to the right and get her connected on that side. 2 eyes, 2 brains. You always work both sides equally. So right here, I'm just going to ask her to, she sit here and rested with me just a minute. Now I'm just going to ask her to go out again and simply see if how much more drawing I can get from her. You know, there she goes back to kind of lingering at that gate again. Let's just see how this goes. Now you can see her lowering her head right here. You can see that one ear closest to me is on me. Right here, she just really wants to get along and be part of the program. I'm going to see if I can set her up right here and draw her away. See right here, she took her eye off of me. See if I can draw her away right here. Right there we go. Now I'm going to step in here and see if I can't get them hindquarters. And if she'll give me these hindquarters right here, there she goes. There she goes. There she goes. That's good. Now I'm going to let her rest right here a minute. Give her a little rub. And let her know being with me is a good place. Now, I do rub these horses, but I want to make a point. If this is natural horsemanship, and we're trying to work with these horses in a way they would understand in their language that another horse would be doing, you know, the language that another horse would be putting out towards them. I don't ever see the dominant horse rubbing. I'm not saying not to rub your horse. I've laid in bed and thought about this stuff before, and you don't ever see the dominant horse soothing the weaker horse. Matter of fact, right there will prove to you, horses really don't even like their heads touched. A lot of horses don't. Now right here, I got to connect back up with her. I lost her right there. She's very easy to lose. So right here, I'm going to come in here and we'll block her right there. Now we need to work on this side. See, anytime she gets disoriented like she just did, she goes back to saying, I just want with my buddies. I don't like people. I don't like people. Leave me alone. Y'all are all the same. That's what she's saying. And so you got to constantly be working on this village trust. But what I was saying about their head, and I'm going to go ahead and send her the other way here. See there, she don't want to put me in that other eye. And we'll work on this right here. We'll draw her off of here. Draw her off of here. I'm going to draw that hip. Look at here. Now send her. Now, see there? There's a little issue. Let's work on that. So let's get her over here again. Get her somewhere comfortable where we can have room to work. Now I'm going to draw her off of here. Look at here. See here? She knows what I'm up to, and she's like, no, I ain't going the other way. I'm going to draw her. See, she's not totally let me in this other eye yet. So how am I going to do that without her following me? So right there, she's already putting me in this left eye. So I'll come over here. I'll come over here. I don't want her turning away from me. I want her going this way away from me. There we go. Now we're going to send her out to the right. Now we're going to get this addressed going this way. Same thing. Same joint up, just a different eye. Very important right there. You got to notice these things about these horses. Now right here, I'm going to get her working. Get her working just a little bit. Got to make her, you know, here's the deal. We're not trying to work them till their tongues are hanging out. But we have to make the resting place desired, if that makes sense. I mean, we can't just send them around in a few mindless little old toy circles. See right here, right there, she just kind of wants to take over the situation. But what I was saying was, we can't let her out here in just a few little old kitty circles and expect you to be a good place. No, you've got to really make being with you appreciated. And there's a line there. See there, a little bit of attitude right there. See, that could have come out when I was riding her. See what it is? She's had enough. She's thinking, okay, I played your stupid human trick. Now I've had enough. You know what I say to her? Cry me a river. I can't help it that you've had enough. I'm not done with you yet, and you've not did what I need you to do just yet. You're not wanting to cooperate. I think that she's on top of being a little bit disconnected from people. I think she's got just a slight bit of an attitude too, like a bad attitude teenager that, not only did they get a bad hand in life, but on top of that, they've acquired a bad attitude. So sometimes that's a hard ordeal to work out, especially with I'd rather work with the horse than a teenager. I'll just be quite frank with you, or honest with you. But at the same time, it's kind of the same thing. You get their mind right, but you still got to work on that attitude just a little bit. You get them submitting. Right here, she's really wanting to be part of the program. Let's see if I can't keep her connected here and get this hip right here. Here it comes. Good. She chose to be with me. Now, I'm going to take that. I'm not going to aggravate her with it forever. And I'm going to halter her right here, and we're going to move on with this program. So today's session so far was a little bit better than the first one. And if you'll go back and see the first session with her that I videoed, I mean, she's had more sessions, but see the last video that I documented and see the difference in that day compared to this day, you'll see the difference. I hope you will anyway. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get on River, and I'm going to I haven't ridden her personally with a bridle yet, and I'm not going to. I'm just going to get on her and with a halter, and I'm still just working on getting to know her, and I'm going to ride her around with one rope and kind of just ride her around. I'm going to do a little bit of yielding and a little bit of flexing on her a little bit, maybe going the other way with the rope on the other side. I will eventually put her in a snaffle bit. I'm sure she's been ridden in one, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'm still just working on connecting with this horse. Now, am I worried about her bucking? Well, sure. I'm worried about all horses bucking, but hopefully I can catch her nose and change her mind. I call it changing her mind. So I'm just going to get up here, check her out right here. You got to watch them ears. And then I'm just going to ask her simply, I'm going to let her smell me there a minute. She might not like my smell, so maybe she'll buck me off because of stink. All right, so she smelt me enough, so I'm going to go ahead and ask her to move out. And right here we got some ears. We got some ears going back. We're riding a camel. I don't know if y'all have ever rode a camel before, but she's got a big old hump in her back. So right there tells me there's a little bit of complaint. But I'm going to get along with her. See, that's why I ain't putting a bit in her mouth yet. I just want to get along with her. It's kind of like, if you can't get along with somebody, how you going to work with them? So you got to build that relationship first before you can work with them. If you're having trouble on a job with working with somebody, then sometimes, you're just clashing with personalities and you really just ain't getting along with one another. So, learn how to get along with each other first and then try to work together. So, but I can't work with this mare with her having it right here. She tries to pin her ears because I'm asking her to move, and she wants to pin her ears and kind of turn around and bite at me. I don't mind one bit to let her let her nose run into the tip of my toe. I don't mind it one bit. So right here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this mare pretty busy. Right here, we got a little bit of pinning of ears. Got a little bit of an attitude. You might say, well, let her out of that circle. Hey, no, I'm trying to get along with her right here. If she'll trot out again, like right there, now I'm just going to rub her for that. I'm going to say, hey, I ain't going to be like the rest of the people. I'm not going to get mad and go to swarping on you, but you're going to do what I ask, but I'm going to rub you for it when you do. So right here, we'll come in here, send her out here again. Right there. Now, just rub her for that. Change her mind. Be like, blow her mind. Be like, you want to be the best thing. Like, man, he didn't do what. I don't know how she's been started, but I can tell you one thing. I don't think it's been real solid. So, that tells me that, maybe not abuse, but maybe just some lack of connection has been there, and she just don't like people. But you notice how she chose to come out of that little circle over on her own. Her head's down a little bit. Now she could possibly fly up with a surprise here. I don't personally think she's gonna, but you always got to ride these things prepared. So right here, I'm just going to ask her to trot again. Right there. She threw up her butt. I felt it. I don't know if you could see it. So now I'm going to get a little busy on her. I'm going to say, hey, you're in trouble for that. Go stand in the corner. You ain't supposed to do that. I'll make life a little bit miserable for you here, but then I'll rub her and say, now look, I'm trying my best to get along with you. Now you quit being a jerk to me. So right here, I'm going to ask her to trot off again. Right there, a little bit better. That's one of them trots that's like, yeah, whatever. I don't really want to. So I'm going to try to get that trot with a little bit more enthusiasm here. And just ride this horse around. Just say, hey, just pack me around for 5 or 10 minutes. That's all I want you to do. Just pack me around. You see, if I don't argue with her, there won't be no argument. It's hard for someone to argue with yourself. If no one else wants to argue, then it's real hard to argue. You need two to argue. So I'm not going to argue with her. I'm just going to make sure when I work this mare that I got lots of patience. You know, you should have anyway, but I'm human like everybody else, and I get tired and I get aggravated, and I may just not be in the mood that day. Does that mean I don't ride her? No, not necessarily, but that does mean that I may limit the depth that I go with the session. All right there, that was pretty good. Now, if you'll remember to always let these things rest as long or longer than you've worked them, then these little attitudes of these horses will change. Now, why does she keep turning around sniffing my foot? Why does she pin her ears when I ask her to go forward? I'll tell you why. She's been taught properly with spurs. I don't know that for sure, but Burgundy corrected my terminology there. She's been taught improperly with spurs. You can't hear my wife because I got this microphone on. But anyway, improperly with spurs. And she's looking for it. Now that I've ridden her a couple times, the reason she turns around is that she's dreading it. She's like, oh my gosh, here comes that poke. Here comes that hurt. And do I say not to ride with spurs? Absolutely not. I've got a set hanging over on the back side of that door that I love. And I loved riding with spurs. But I have a way of starting these young horses with spurs if I've started them. Now keep in mind, I didn't start this filly. But if I start a young horse with spurs, it's gradual, it's light. I don't have a big old rock grinding spur on. I got a blunt kind of spur, and I believe in pressing. See, look right here. When I press right there, she goes away from that, but she also looks at it as if to say, "Oh Lord, here it comes." So I try not to get these horses dreading the spur. I mean, I just want to be able to lift my heel into them and tickle them. Let me see if Burgundy can draw in on my heel, and I want to show y'all something right here. Are you drawed in pretty good, Bird? Now right here, if I did have a spur on, you know, you're supposed to ride properly. Let's start right there. While we're letting this mare rest, I want to talk to y'all about this. That's the way you ride. Your heels are down. Your heel is in line with your shoulder. Okay, if I did have spurs on, I would ask right here first with just my Achilles and the first part of the top of my heel. If she did not give me what I wanted, I would simply roll that toe down and come up and under her with that spur. So even if I got a spur on, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm using it. It may mean that she don't need it. I only have it on when I start riding a horse with spurs. I only have it on, you know, if she's not listening to my bare heel. So there's a little quick tip on spurs. But I think the more I ride her around, I think that's what she is expecting. So right here, we're just going to ask her to step out to the right. You might notice that I've got these dog colors. That's all they are on this saddle here. And those are just leather dog colors. Some people call them night latches. There is an actual store-bought night latch you can buy. But I have found out that these dog collars, they work pretty good for me. And they're like $10 a piece. So anyway, I don't mind to hold on to them. Now right here, I don't know. I need to quit talking and tell y'all what's going on. Right here, you can hear me straining. She's got a whole lot of resistance right here. So we need to really, before I go any further, we're going to have to work on that. We're going to have to come in here, and I may have to scar the bottom of her jaw up a little bit, not purposely, but I've got to do some tweaking and some pulling and some limbering up here. I can't have that. So we're just going to keep flexing on her right here. Now I'll walk her out in a circle. Just going to get along with this filly. Remember, I'm not trying to make her hate me. I'm trying to make her like me. But she's going to do what I say. So right here, we're still working on the tightness right there. I'm just going to bump, 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 bump that nose around. Keep my legs a little bit busy on her to keep that forwardness going. Bump, bump, bump. Busy, busy legs. Bump, bump, bump. Busy, busy. Now I'm just going to walk out of that circle. Just loosen this mare up. So you might say, well, Mark, aren't you excited to lope her and trot her around and do some figure eights and circles and start teaching her some leg cues? Well, yeah, I'm extremely excited about it. But hey, I've got to get her attitude a little bit better first. You can't ride a horse around. That's what's wrong with her. She's had all of that, but no one has built a relationship with her. So let's see if I can get her just trotting out here just a little bit, or at least a faster walk. You notice I'm using everything. I'm using my arms. There we go. Good. I'm using my legs. I'm using my seat. I'm encouraging. Now I'm just going to relax and ride her around. You can see her attitude is like, oh Lord, here we go with more of that crap. Excuse my terminology. More of that stuff that I grew up with. More of that gimme, 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 and nobody ever gives me anything. So right here, I'm going to work on this tightness. It's already gotten better. Bump, bump, bump. Drive that hip around. Bump, bump, bump. Drive that hip around. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but we got hickory nuts falling off the trees out here. And it sometimes calls for an exciting ride in here, but we got through that one okay. So right here, I'm just going to ask her to pack me around nice and polite. That's all I'm wanting. Nice and polite. Look at her. She just wants to shorten these circles up. She's like, yeah. Circles, circles. It's all I've ever done. You poke me around in the ribs a few times, make me do the stupid horse tricks, and then you put me up. I'm saying, no, honey, that's not what I'm going to do. You've got to change your attitude. I'll give, and I'll be nice to you, but you got to give me what I want first. Now, them ears went up. Let's see if we can get the ears up again. I don't want to quit her with a bad attitude. So I'm going to wait on these ears to come up and her to what? Change her expression a little bit. Change her expression. And then we'll give her a little break. I think she's just always on her defensive. Right there, one ear went up. And I'm going to bump, bump, bump and get this lightness going. I'm going to bump that head around right there. Right there. So here we are with a horse that's not only had a poor foundation, but during that poor foundation, she has acquired I ain't going to say a hate, but a distrust in people. She thinks that a person is just a slave driving bad ordeal. And I'm going to make her do, but it's going to be with care. It's going to be with gratitude. Had to make sure my mic was still on. With understanding. So you can be firm, but you can also be gentle at the same time. Firm but gentle. And I think that's what this mare needs. So just this kind of work day after day. When her attitude gets better, just riding her around, packing me around with a halter and a rope on, and just getting a little bit better attitude about it. We'll slip a bridle in her and maybe start teaching her to give in it. But right now, we still need to work. She's pretty good that way, but this right lateral right here, it really needs a lot of tuning on, a lot of fixing, and she just really needs to get off of that. But I don't like to do it at a standstill. I like to flex them and then ask them to give in that rib cage, giving that hip, just like right there, and really start to do that. So I hope all that makes sense to you. We're going to let that be a session for River today, and I think we're getting somewhere with her. I really appreciate you all watching. I want to remind everyone, if you would, if you're not seeing this on YouTube, I just want to remind you, if you're seeing it on Facebook, I just want to remind you to go to YouTube under the same title, which is Mark Noel Horsemanship and Noel Family Quarter Horses, and go on there. And we have the same videos and, well, some other ones, but pretty much you'll see the same on both. But go on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to build that YouTube channel up, and we really appreciate you. And like and share, like Burgundy just said, like and share on both. Like and share. We're just trying to get her. If for those of you that may be new to us, Facebook unpublished our page, and you know, we had 4,700 followers on Facebook, and for Facebook that's quite a few. I didn't really understand because I don't get into this stuff that much, but my wife informed me that 4,700 followers on YouTube is pretty good. On Facebook, excuse me. We had 4,700 followers on Facebook, and they unpublished us, so we lost all of our followers. Some of you all are coming back, and we appreciate it. Like and share. We're trying to get our page built back up. But I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget, like I said, to check us out on YouTube as well. And we appreciate you, and God bless you.